In order to take the engine out with the transmission on a manual gearbox or a manual transmission, you need to remove the Z-bar. Otherwise, you aren't going to get past the steering column. And in order to do that, there's a couple of linkages that need to be removed. The transmission linkage here, and it's held on with a cotter pin, and that's up against the engine. And then over on the frame, let me see if I can get a good shot of that. So underneath the steering column, here it is. I'm going to try to get my finger on it. Ah, boy, that's it. So, well, here's the top. This is the clutch pedal here. And in the clutch pedal, you got to take another cotter pin out and slide that out. And that's the top half of the Z-bar. And then on the shaft of the Z-bar here, man, that's hard to see. On the shaft of the Z-bar, mounted on the frame, there is a bolt that needs to come off, or a nut that needs to come off. I've already taken it off here. And it's got a tab on it, so you got to bend the tab back, and the tab is meant so that the nut doesn't come off. So you bend the tab back and you take the bolt out, or the nut off. So it's a nut and two cotter pins, and then you can move the Z-bar up and out of the way once you've got those things disconnected. Actually, there's also a spring. Shit. Sorry. There's also a spring that needs to come off. So removing the spring, you just... Actually, probably be easier to remove the spring once I move the Z-bar. So I'll do it that way. So a spring, two cotter pins, and a nut. So here's the bottom of the Z-bar. That's not a cotter pin. That is a funky retainer. So what I'm going to do is move backwards here. Let me walk it back down the rod here. And on this end of the rod, there is a cotter pin. So what I'll do is take that cotter pin off, and then there's a pin being held in place with that cotter pin. Pop the pin out, and then this rod and the Z-bar is going to come out together. So I don't want to remove that funky retainer. All right, once you've got the cotter pin out, you just drive the pin up and pull it out from the other side if you can reach it. It's out of the... Now the pin is almost out of the rod. Okay, I'll get this out with just a drift. Just tap it slightly. I don't want to damage anything, but something long, that'll go through that. So the pin will come out pretty easily once I do that. Okay, so I used a nail set that fit up nicely up inside. I didn't have to hammer it at all. I just ended up just pushing it by hand. Now, in order to get this out, it won't come out just by pushing on it. You have to pull on the lever this way, or push on the lever, because it's a slot that this thing is coming out of. If the round part's trying to come out, you can't get it. So you got to push it forward, and then it'll drop out. Easy as that. Now, to get the Z-bar out, I still got to take the spring off, but in theory, I should be able to just pull this and pop it up and move it down. Yeah, see, so like, there it goes. So I got that. The pin at the top's got to come out. There it goes. So the Z-bar is coming out this way. I gotta disconnect the pin. Top of the Z-bar. Shoot. All right. Well, I'll do that from the top side. Jeepers. All right, so I didn't have to go back up top. It's just you got to do it in the proper order. So don't pull out the engine side yet. In order to get this pin out up here, you've got to be able to push this in the other direction. And if you've already pulled the Z-bar out towards the tire, you can't get enough play in the clutch mechanism. So springs out, pins out, we're all good. Now I just pull and remove.